This is round 4 of the Super Series, and we're here at Zwartkops for the first time this year. Welcome to the Bridgestone production cars.
All of this racing action presented to you by Bridgestone. On this show, we're picking up all the action from round number 4 of the Bridgestone production cars at Zwartkops.
For more information on our series, you can go to www.spcc.co.za or you can tag us on Facebook and Twitter.
As the championship nears the halfway marker of the season, it is getting super tight. It's all about the Audis right now in the Class A championship. Michael Stephen leading by 11 points over the BMW of Fari, down on 72. Chop Sapuka just 2 points behind in third place. In the Class T's, all about Graham Nathan, leading on 87. 14 points ahead of Gavin Cronje, and the Mini is starting to come good at the midpoint of the season. Joubert on 52 in third.
The Bridgestone Production Car Championship has a massive fan base, not just in South Africa, but overseas as well. This time around, we thought it'd be a really cool idea to get the fans to ask the drivers some of their questions. Behind the scenes, well, here we go.
So when you're not racing, what car do you drive?
BMW M3.
Ford Focus ST.
Mini Cooper S, but supercharged.
My road car at the moment is an Audi S4, but hopefully BMW will do a deal so I can get a BMW.
When I'm not racing, I drive an Audi A4 Sportline, compliments of Audi South Africa.
BMW X3, Range Rover.
Well, I drive a Megane RS 250 Cup that's sponsored by Renault.
I should be driving my RS, my Focus RS most of the time, but it's difficult to leave my 458 Spider behind, so my 458 now and again.
I've got a Seat Leon with a nice big turbo on it, full exhaust, and it's definitely not standard and it hops.
Who do you support in Formula One?
Sebastian Vettel is my team player. The reason I like him is he doesn't really listen to team orders. He goes out there, he knows what he has to do, and he has to win. That's why he races cars. Winning is everything. Riding behind Weber is just not going to hack it.
Fernando Alonso. I think he's a bit arrogant. He's, I think, the best driver in the field.
Lewis Hamilton. He's made a brave move to go to Mercedes and he's proved himself, so I want to back him this year.
Lewis Hamilton, of course.
Definitely Alonso.
Sport Alonso. I think he's the class act of the field. He's a complete driver.
Alonso is probably my favorite driver right now. He has been for a while. But I think Kimi Raikkonen is coming, so I'm hoping for the best for him.
Kimi Raikkonen, I just like his attitude and his personality.
Used to Michael Schumacher, but Kimi Raikkonen now.
In Formula One, I support Fernando Alonso. Sometimes a little bit controversial.
Fernando Alonso, I think the greatest driver in Formula One at the moment.
Fernando Alonso, but I got to like him before Groenewald did.
No doubt, Sebastian Vettel.
Fernando Alonso. He drives a Ferrari and he's just bloody good.
How long have you been racing and how old were you?
Been racing for 23 years. And I started at the age of 12. 22 years. I started when I was 9 years old.
I'm racing 15 years now. I started at the age of 5 and just went from there, went to ovals and then to circuit racing around about 12 years.
I started racing in the end of '89, one race, so 23, 24 years.
A long time now. I started in go-karts when I was 5 years old, so basically could hardly even walk and I was already leaning, putting my head on the
side part in the go-kart?
It's been, call it 13 years. Started in Polo Cup, now in production cars.
We've been racing for 13 years this year. Been through karting, started at the age of 8.
1976 started with the first little bike doing some E-Tooljet racing, but really the serious racing started in karting in 1986, so it's many years.
People say if you want to do racing, you have to begin with karting. What is your advice?
I definitely think so. I think, you know what, it's people say motocross is better sometimes because of the balance and feel you get, but I think karting teaches you more than you'll ever learn in a big car, you know. It teaches you to keep your lines right and be accurate and you know, I think if you look at the success of most of the world racing drivers is from go-karts.
As for the youth, I think, yes, karting is a good start for them and to gain experience.
Well, I disagree with that completely. I think to become a racing driver, you've got to be passionate and you've got to be hungry for it. I started in motocross, which in my opinion is the best way to learn grip, because if you lose grip on the sand on a motocross bike, you're going to hit the deck. You lose grip in a kart, you're going to slide and stop. So karting, me, 6'6", in a kart, come on guys, seriously.
I think karting is a foundation for any, you know, racing driver. It's not a must, but I think it certainly, you know, paves the way for a better future. It teaches, you know, kids not only the driving aspect, but the technical aspect in that as well. So certainly if you've done karting and you start there, you'll have a better stepping stone than someone who hasn't.
Well, I started there. It's a very good starting ground, and it definitely helps learning skills, especially from a young age.
I don't think so anymore. I think there are other opportunities out there, and some of the kids coming from simulations and playstations are proving to be quite fast in Europe at the moment, so probably not.
What's your favorite racetrack in South Africa and the world?
My favorite racetrack in South Africa is probably East London. Reason being, it's a really, really big balls racetrack, and if you get it all hooked up nicely, it's fast, it's adrenaline charging, and it's what racing's all about.
Killarney, Cape Town. Malaysia.
I have seen the Malaysia racetrack, and I kind of enjoy that. It's got some high-speed stuff, some sweeps, some high-speed braking, and big long straights. So I'd really like to have a go there.
Oh, it has to be Pakisa.
Pakisa, definitely Pakisa. Spa and Magnicor.
Favorite racetrack South Africa, I'd say Pakisa. Spa-Francorchamps.
It's got to be Kyalami. It's a bit sore to say that at the moment with the current state of the circuit, but definitely in South Africa.
I love racing on Kyalami, but I really prefer the top tier street race. It was the most amazing track ever.
In South Africa, my favorite racetrack would have to be Kyalami.
And in the world?
I'm fortunate enough to race on Spa-Francorchamps. Absolutely fantastic circuit. I think it's 7.6 k's long. East London Grand Prix circuit. I would say Le Mans was my most enjoyable circuit to drive on.
I'd have to say Kyalami. It's got a lot of history, and I love the sweeping flow of the circuit.
My favourite racetrack has to be Aldo Scabanti. Then it's between there and Killarney, which are the two best tracks that I've driven on locally. We've been to Spain, that we raced karts at for endurance racing, and that was an absolutely awesome track.
In South Africa, I think from a pure driver's point of view, it's Kyalami. I have to say Brands Hatch. I had the opportunity to race there many years ago, and certainly exciting. It's got such change in elevation on the track, and absolutely mind-blowing going through corners like Paddock Bend, so certainly my favourite on the tracks that I've driven.
What is your favourite holiday destination?
Anywhere where there's a beach. As long as there's sea, sand and water, that's where I want to be.
Seychelles.
Mauritius.
Thailand.
Mauritius.
Thailand.
I think Mozambique's probably cool.
So do I have to be Belita in Durban?
Probably New York. New York in the winter. Spectacular.
Look, traveling the world is one thing, but I think South Africa is a beautiful country. So anywhere in South Africa, you know, I like to see my country.
What's your favorite TV show?
Top Gear.
Modern Family.
At the moment, my favorite TV show is Chicago Fire.
TV show I like to watch come down with me, strangely enough. Totally different to anything of motorsport, but relaxing on the couch and watching come down with me, I enjoy.
The Mentalist. It would have to be either Formula 1 or MotoGP.
Anything to do with motorsport?
Revenge. Modern Family. A Link.
Dexter and Californication.
My favorite TV show is Dexter.
Well, I say TV shows is hard, but definitely movies. Anything with Will Ferrell, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, Anchorman.
Gotta be 2.5 Men.
Can you sing the theme?
Most definitely not.
It would have to probably go something like this. Meow, meow.
Most definitely not.
Definitely not.
No, I can't. I can't sing the theme song, but I do support them.
There's no chance I can sing the theme song. I can go like a fire engine.
You're right.
I think for Step Brothers it's Boats and Hoes. Boats and Hoes. Gotta get me some boats and hoes.
I can't sing.
Thank goodness Michael van Rooyen can drive. For more information on our Bridgestone production cars, and maybe you've got some questions you'd like to have answered, why don't you log on to our website or basically tag Twitter or Facebook. In the meantime, let's go back to qualifying.
Class A qualifying, extremely important at this point of the season. Bonafide not getting the lap he wanted to, though. 5th place, a low qualifier just behind Melville Priest. Then we go to Fourie, also battling with conditions. A good track for the Subarus in the past sees Groenewald in 2nd place. But it's the first pole of the season for Van der Linde.
Having a look at the Class Ts, and would the Fords now start to carry on where they left off with all the development going on with them, but it was not to be. The Castrol Minis were also in the mix as well. Watch out for the Golf GTI. Jacques Joubert was starting to make a move. His development season now over and looking a serious contender for the championship is Graham Nathan. But the man who was the fastest in pole was the John Cooper Works Mini from Lee Thompson.
So this is how the grid is going to line up. Etienne van der Linde heads up row number 1 for the first time in 2013 with Henny on his wheel. Fourie and Priest the next row.
Gennaro Bonafide in the yellow Audi, and then Michael Stephen alongside him. Richard Pinnard, and then Chop Sabuka on the next row.
In the Class Ts, let's see what the Zwartkops specialist Lee Thompson has for us as he lines up next to Graham Nathan. Jacques Joubert, then Cronje.
Next row, Gary Formato in the Ford, Devin Robinson in the Megane, and then is Michael van Rooyen in the Cruise, and Garth Wilberski in the other Ford.
At the back of the pack, 3rd Ford of the year, Modak steps in.
Your team and you, it's an amazing package. You must be really stoked.
Yes, I mean, coming off not the best of starts to a season, I think it's time that we turn it around. And yeah, I mean, it is our test track, so we have a good history at Zwartkops. So hopefully we can just continue that way and start scoring some solid points for the championship.
Well, it's early days in the championship, as you've said, but it's critical that one picks up the points at the early stage. But how good is this BMW right now?
Look, the BM's always been good. Coming off Port Elizabeth, it's a track that hasn't suited the rear-wheel drives in the past. So looking ahead, I think we're going to circuits that are better suited to the BM. So hopefully we can capitalize on that and get back in the hunt for the championship.
Qualifying, Michael, didn't go your way. Qualified 6th fastest. Any problems?
Not really any problems. We're just a bit slow. You know, we've had a good start to the year, and I suppose these days are going to come. It seems like the other guys have picked up their pace a little bit, and yeah, the race is a different story, so hopefully we can go out there and get some good results. If we haven't got the pace for the race, then we just need to, you know, consolidate for this weekend and come back stronger for the next one.
Now, you come to this race with a few more performance parts, and it looks like it's really paid handsome dividends. Well done on a really good time.
Yes, the team has done a brilliant job for this race. We've been working really hard, and Agropovic have supplied us their new system, which seems to have helped us a little bit more. That the race is going to be very close. It looks like all the cars are pretty even, Steven, on race pace. So we'll have to wait and see how the race goes.
Round 4 Bridgestone production cars were standing with the third quickest man in qualifying. Would it be fair to say, Jacques, that the rookie season's now open and the championship is anybody's for the taking?
Yes, for sure. So far it's going extremely well. In Cape Town I messed up the first 2 races, but in PE I had an amazing first race and then unfortunately broke the clutch pedal inside the car. And so far everything's looking good and the car is running amazingly. It's all thanks to the team and their hard work, especially Nathan's Motorsports for getting the car ready for this event, rebuilding the engine, all of that kinds of stuff, running it in, and the new brakes we've got from Power Brake.
First of the sprint races, let's see what the Afrox BMW can do from pole position, because this has always been a good rear-wheel drive track. The four-wheel drives are going to battle today.
Well, yeah, but the rear-wheel drives, well, that remains to be seen what they're going to do. But Van der Linde, in fact, both of those BMWs have looked absolutely stunning.
Massive impact there. Gennaro Bonafide out-braking himself and just sending Fourie into the back of Henny Groenewald. So it looks like we've lost 2 of the key players early on.
That looked a little innocuous, but I think there's going to be some serious damage there. Class T underway, and look who's leading it out, Lee Thompson.
Yeah, this is the best chance Lee Thompson has so far this season. We're at round number 4. He has had a nightmare of a season so far. He is so good at Zwartkops. He'll just be praying that the car is going to hold together this time.
And so will his stablemate, Gavin Cronier. They both know how to drive those things, and there has been a certain amount of improvement. But right now, Class A is where the action is, and there's problems for Fourie right now.
Second place in the championship, and he is going to be going and parking that car as we go on board with Nathan as he gets incredible drive there. Little tap up the inside. Thompson is so good though, covering the line. But you can see the GTI got massive drive up the hill, and he is going to be pressuring the Mini the whole way through. And just up the road there we saw Gennaro as well. So 2 of the Class A guys that should be running at the front are in trouble.
Yeah, big disturbing things for me at the moment, because I mean, look at the bodywork damage on Henny Groenewald, and that is just a tyre rubbing against the bodywork. Nothing serious right now. He might be able to carry on driving that.
But I'll tell you what, Steve, that tyre will eventually let go. You saw how much smoke, and that's just all the bodywork and the pressure when he's pitching over on the left-hand corners. All the weight goes across to the right, and it is going to eventually let go. He's just going to be praying that he can hang on.
On board with Melville Priest at the moment. Look at him having a look on the outside, which isn't done. Henny Groenewald will eventually push him wide, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can go around the outside, but if the car is equal and able to stay in there, then Priest is all the way on the outside. He's destroying his drive. The dirt is going to destroy him drive now, and up the inside comes Michael Stephen, threading the needle, and you don't have to ask Stephen twice. I mean, that's just a gift.
Absolutely, and of course he's got to be disappointed with his qualifying, but he's really on the power at the moment, and still that bodywork is
Watch this pass. The top of the shelf here, forced to the outside, but if you hang tough around the outside, eventually outside becomes inside. We got a new race leader.
Well, it also opens it up for Melville Priest, who's really got to look on the inside as well.
That's a very, very nice move. Melville Priest, you know what? The last couple of rounds he has been haunting the back wheel of Stephen. Can today be his go back and pick up on the action in the Class Ts? And Nathan has hit the front.
So on board and just behind him, that's Lee Thompson in the John Cooper Works Mini. Looking for a good day for the Ginger Ninja. That is Gavin Cronier.
Nathan's gone wide. Race leader Nathan has gone wide. Forced the front end of the GTI too far. And all of a sudden, first to fourth. Now he's got a big ask. And that's a nice little breathing gap that Thompson has got. He looks like around about half a second over Joubert.
It was also the nice thing to see Gary Formalto now in the mix and up to third. But our battle in Class A continues. And it is the leading and reigning champion, Michael Stephen. We're on board with him at the moment. And that Mr. Consistency, it is Melville Priest just behind him, looking for a way. Now, he's followed him for a long time in PE, and he's doing it again today.
Yeah, Priest is going to be frustrated, but he has got good at this, following around in second place and trying to pick a line. It's going to be very hard to make a pass. And just behind these guys, you'll notice Henny Groenewald fading off the back wheel. Now, Chop Sapuka comes through into third place. So the problems on the tyre, on the Subaru, are starting to cause big issues.
Man, look at these two, Matt. They're just going head-to-head at the moment, and there's a big shadow in Michael Stevens' rear-view mirror, and it's Melville Priest.
Yeah, he is starting to charge, and it's going to be a long day because it's hard past Michael Stephen in that kind of form. At the front now, Formato coming on. Not a good qualifier, like you said, Steve. Constant development on the new Ford ST. Third place is going to be extremely happy where he is right now.
Well, the Minis, historically, have had some ambient heating problems through last season. They made a brilliant debut at Pekisa last year, but they come with new packages, including new Akrapovic pipes and a new brake system.
Yeah, making more power is certainly going to come into play. Funny enough, on this track, you say, where do you need the power? You need the power up the hill out of turn number 4. And that, I believe, is where the Mini, the lighter Mini is making inroads, and he's certainly extending that gap. Last time around, half a second. It's got to be heading on for a solid second now.
Do you think there's a new car war? I mean, it's always been the Fords and the GTIs, but just right now, the Minis are starting to make their presence felt.
Every now and again, it comes in. The last couple of seasons where Mini have shone, they haven't shone for an entire season, but every now and again there's a track, and we see one of the drivers at the back. That was a Cruise. The Cruise has gone off on the outside of turn number 4, so a terrible start to the race for Van Rooyen.
Yeah, it could be driver error, but you know, I can't really be fair about saying something like that. On board Gary Fomata. This is interesting. Having a dice with Jacques Joubert.
Yeah, he just left the door open a little bit there. You can run a wide line to get the drive, but that was a lot of body rub there. Fomata stayed in it, and he has done extremely well to get back across to the left-hand side of the track, but he ran it too deep. That is just a wall, and they've been slowing each other down. Stiglet is now hanging on to second place, but the hole was reopened for Nathan, our early race leader, to come through and take over third place, and he's now trying to go for second with his teammate.
We also see a much better maturity from the young Stiglet as well. It's no longer his debut year. He's got to mix it with the big boys, including Nathan.
And it shows as well, because in years past, if a new driver was tagged that hard and leaned on that far, you would often back out of it. Joubert isn't rolling over for anybody this year.
So, great action here from Zwartkops, and it's round number 4, but the Mini is still in control. It is Lee Thompson putting in a blinding show at the moment, but let's go mid-pack.
Yeah, that's all about Gavin Cronje, the man who runs second in championship points, as we go back on board with Nathan. And once again, a really good braking setup. The Fords have been working on their engine, but also at Zwartkops. We know how hard this track is on brakes, so Fomata has dialed that car in, and he seems to be running good pace. There's a couple of chances for him to actually move up today.
I just saw some body work flying off one of those cars. Jacques Joubert. That means he's either running... No, Nathan's run into him.
Yeah, and then we go back and pick up on the Magan of Robertson. Now, he took his debut win at the previous round at Port Elizabeth, but he is really battling with any kind of form and setup here. He sits behind Gavin Cronje, who sits in second place, 14 points back off our championship leader, currently Graham Nathan.
Yeah, spot the new car out there, which is one of the Fords from Modak in car number T20. Interesting that we have 3 Fords going in that. Dumini's missing, Wyberski's in for Dumini.
Yeah, it is all kind of change up there, and it looks like that is that Pinard? No, it's actually Henny Groenewald just circulating out there, trying to tag as many points as he can in the Class A's. But we're concentrating on the T's because that's where the action is right now. Nathan runs in second. Jacques Joubert playing rear gunner, running in third place now. And it looks like Fomata is starting to lose that advantage that he had in the early stages.
Yeah, so Jacques Joubert following Graham Nathan around. As you can see, the bumper is missing. But did you notice that little badge in his cockpit? It said Power Brake. It's a locally made product, and they're using it as well as the Minis.
So Fomata running a distant 4th place right now. Interesting to see that one Mini is absolute lightning out front. The other Mini of Gavin Cronje sitting a distant 5th place. Doesn't seem to be really tuned in, but we know that he tends to set his car up for the long race at the end of the day.
8 and 9, the penultimate lap, and Stephen still large and in control at the moment. Melville Priest is still trying to just get past him. There's no way right now.
Yeah, he's driving aggressive. He's definitely frustrated, and the car will be running hot. It doesn't sound like it would actually affect the car to run that close. You'd think it would be an advantage that you're going to get the slipstream and get dragged along, but what you're not getting is cool air into the front of the car, and every now and again, maybe the 3rd lap out of 4, you have to drop off the back and give the car a little bit of breathing air.
It's also interesting to note how far back Michael Stephen qualified, and yet he is now leading this race and in control.
Yeah, well, he was one of the beneficiaries of the Bonafide-Ferrari incident in turn number 1, Steve.
On board Fomata, that car's looking really good. They've got a bit more pace. They've had to really spend a bit of time developing that car. It hasn't been easy for the team at all.
No, not at all. And of course, we are missing Dumini. He is still out hobbling around in the pits. And yeah, I think we'll see him maybe a little bit later in the year. But what a result from the Afrox Pertec BMW of Etienne van der Linde. He has done nothing so far this season. We get to round number 4 at Zwartkops. He is fastest in qualifying, and he pulls a massive victory. Look, you can't even see second place in the background.
Well, we can tell you that it will be Michael Stephen and it will be Melville Priest. Another podium finish for those two as well. And Class T, Lee Thompson, a sublime race, really in control. He's going to win this outright. He's just got to keep it into turn 8 really nicely. And there is a surprise. Nathan really done the business this time.
Yeah, he's come through. He really fought hard in the mid part of that race to get through and lock in a solid second place to give himself some hope in this championship. But a turnaround for the season for Thompson and getting the monkey off his back. Lee Thompson finally doing the business, and it's good to see the minis shining at Zwartkops. We always knew it was going to be a good track for them. Confirmation of race number 1 win then. Etienne van der Linde gets his first win of the season ahead of Steven, Priest, Sapuka, and Groenewold circulating in 5th.
So Lee Thompson, Class T, Graham Nathan, Jack Jabber in the other GTI, Gary Formato, and then Gavin Cronier in the other John Cooper Works Mini.
Flip the page and we go to Devin Robertson, a lowly 6th place for a former winner ahead of Roberski, Van Rooyen, and Modak.
Man, your race pace was incredible. You must be delighted with the win. Didn't look like you were in any kind of trouble whatsoever.
No, ecstatic. First win for the season, so that's behind me, so we can look forward and try and start challenging for the championship again. But yeah, the car ran like clockwork. The Afrox Pertec BMW with BMW performance parts worked wonderfully from lap 1. There was a bit of action into turn 2 that gave me a bit of a breather, and I could just put my head down and put in a couple of qualifying laps, and that gave me a good enough lead just to manage it from there on. And yeah, excellent race, and I'm ecstatic.
Well done, Lee. Congratulations.
Yeah, happy for the first one this year. Long overdue. Look, Graham was really quick in the beginning. I think he was quicker than me. But with some luck, I got past when Graham fell off. You know, you don't really want to win by luck, but I don't really give a shit now because I had so much bad luck anyway. So I'll take anything that comes out. The car seems to have good race pace. We'll work a little bit on the first 2 or 3 laps, but I'm really happy for Team Castrol Mini. A big thanks to Freddie Pretorius at the workshop, Martin Roots at MJR Technologies for tuning a very good car, and we've got a good base to start my year from now.
Gennaro, coming in at this early stage of the race with no points is not what you wanted today. What was the story?
No, I just had a good start. Got past Melville side by side to turn 1, and then going into turn 2, just braked too late on the dirty side of the track and bumped into Johan and caused all sorts of damage. So it's one of those things, a big mistake from our side of things. I'm not happy at all. The guys have worked so hard on the car, and now a lot of damage to the front end of the car and a lot of damage to other cars as well. So it's, I'm not going to say a driver error, and now I must just deal with what's happened.
Coming up, action from Class A and Class T in our second race. You think the drama stops there? Well, I can tell you it doesn't. Bridgestone Production Cars is proudly brought to you by Bridgestone. Round 4 action from Zwartkops. Matt, we're on the money. Race 1 down, another one to come.
Second of the sprint races. This is where it gets interesting because it is the inversion, and the race 1 winner has to draw for that. Whatever number he draws is how many cars we are going to flip out and go to the back of the pack.
10?
10. There aren't 10 cars out there, which means we go back to the number of cars there actually are, which means race number 1 winner goes to the back of the pack, and he'll be lined up next to Gennaro Bonafide, who didn't classify as a finisher, so he also lines up at the back. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yes, he'll be feeling a little sheepish after that particular incident. Hopefully that'll get buried, but a lot of the drivers not particularly happy with what happened.
Yeah,
so
and not going to be a good situation. And the star of race number 2, the star of the inversion, leads out once again. How many times have we seen this so far in the 2013 season? Chops Sapuka, and we always see him with those red wing mirrors. He leads out. He's got a very good chance of taking another scalp in the second race.
He has, you called it. I mean, he's the king of inverted grivs, and well, we'll have to see how he performs. But I'll tell you what, Melville Priest for me is the one that's been looking ominous today, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a win under his belt. Class T, the action. Well, look at that. Garth Roberski. Modak, well, he's a new driver in this series in a new car representing Ford.
Yeah, it's going to get very, very busy. Look at the guys. They're climbing all over each other, charging. Devin Robertson got a great line up the inside. The chef trying to thread the needle. It's 3 cars tagging, and believe me, it looks straight, but coming out of turn number 2, you are continually turning, and someone has gone sideways. 3 cars were involved in that. Look at the Ford, sent all the way to the wall, bounced back into the middle of the track. definitely a red flag situation. That car is going nowhere.
Matt, I hope we get a replay on this because I would love to see that. And a Michael van Rooyen on the outside escaped. Here's the replay. Let's have a look at this.
It was Modak on the outside. He had a good line. Then up the inside, a real sharp turn from the Renault. And then the Chevy tries to thread the needle up the inside. You've got to say there wasn't room. The Ford looked like it came across, but I think it actually got tagged by the Chevy, sending it into Devin Robertson. And there is big damage. There's a second impact there, so there's going to be huge damage on the front of the Renault as well.
Matt, I've got to feel sorry for Modak. I mean, he's coming to the series, he's bought that car. What a way to happen. I mean, who do we finger the blame here? I mean, Van Rooyen gets out of it scot-free, and really big damage on the Renault Megane and the Ford. Massive.
Yeah, there's going to be talk about that for the next couple of rounds. I'm telling you right now, we will revisit it at the next round. We're on a restart, though, and all the Class A cars, well, most of the Class A cars, the ones that lined up, are out there doing the business. You'll notice no support.
Oh, look at that. Michael Stephen on the inside of Melville Priest. What a great move. And he sticks him wide, too. Brilliant. Sapuki in the lead. Oh, he gets back on the inside. This is fantastic stuff. Well done, Melville.
If there's any chinks in Melville Priest's armor, it's that he hasn't been aggressive enough this season. I think someone is having a word with him and trying to sort out more action in the tees. That time it was Nathan and Thompson sending each other wide on the outside of turn number 1.
It's Werberski in the mix, they must be. Look at that. They're all touched. What drama's going on here, round number 2?
Oh, and Jacques Joubert also gets tagged. I have to see the outside shot to see who that was. I think it had to be Formato.
Wow. Unbelievable. All the carnage, and it's so early in the day.
Yeah, Jacques Joubert then, he is in big trouble. And this is going to hurt him in the championship. Here is the action we were talking about. That's race number 1 winner Thompson. Gets forced way wide, all the way deep, and probably to the wall. And there is the bucking Bronco of Nathan. Here's on board with Nathan. He's wide. He goes all the way wide. And unfortunately, Thompson had nowhere to go. It is scary out there. And then this is on board with Jacques Joubert. Watch his steering wheel. He's in a straight line. He's trying to get himself back on track. There's a driver up the inside. The back end is tagged. He goes all the way around, and he's at the back of the pack.
Who tagged him?
It was Gary Formato. He was the driver up the inside and not allowing the Stiglet back on track.
All right, so getting back to our current action at the moment, and we're losing cars left, right, and centre. It's really become a very drama-filled day. On board with Gary Formato, one of the few survivors out there.
Yeah, it is just a huge story today. These guys have come into round number 4, heading into the mid part of the season, and it has got super aggressive out there. We're not even at the feature race that scores double points. All these sprint races, though, are incredibly important for the championship, and to just keep the finishers banging away there. Melville Priest, the third of the Audis lined up there, and just a bit of a princess year for him. He can't be crowned at the front just yet.
I know a lot of people are very suspect when it comes to round number 5, and we're supposed to be heading down to Durban for the part of the Top Gear Festival, and it's only the production cars that will be going down there. Their worry has always been about the damage and carnage to cars. Well, we're on a perfectly normal racetrack.
Well, exactly. There's no walls there. Oh, bad drive. Sapuka didn't get the drive that he wanted to. That had to be a misgear, and that was just an absolute gift. Stephen goes through the front, and Chop Sapuka gets completely sprayed with roost as Michael Stephen takes his chance and gets the hole through. Great, aggressive move. Finally, Melville Priest gets up there and runs a solid second place. But is this going to be the story of the season? Because Melville Priest just always on the back wheel of Michael Stephen. He's got to try and go through and charge to get a win.
A little further back at the moment, one has to look at the charging BMWs, and is Sapuka going to be okay? Right now, Class T. Here's a really, really different thing. It is Gavin Cronje in the 1 Midi, and it's side by side, going around the outside, or at least trying to, is Michael van Rooyen. He's had a very, very topsy-turvy day so far.
Oh, Mini is incredible.
Whoa!
Little moment there. It could have been a bigger one as well. He lost the back end of the Chevy Cruze coming out of turn number 3. Treacherous turn number 3. One of the fastest and some of the biggest crashes I've ever seen in motorsport or out of that corner. He did extremely well to hang on to that one. It's dirty on the outside. That's what these guys need to be careful of. There is one racing line today, and if you try and sweep around the outside, you're in trouble.
Well, we've seen him lose a wheel there before on that very same corner, and yeah, again, saved it. Brilliant driving. Well done.
Exactly
so,
that.
8 of 9, and one more to go, the penultimate lap, and here are the Fords, and it is Gary Formato still charging under pressure right now, and we're on board with Graham Nathan in the Indian Oil Golf 6, charging up the hill.
Check this line. You cannot defend from the outside. Nathan has got the curb. He's got the line. You watch for this. He's looking for him. Where is he? But he's got the line covered. It's going to be very hard to fight back. I think Formato's car is not performing exactly what he wants to, and that was a big out-braking maneuver. Now the Fords have been incredibly good on the brakes in the early stages, but it looks like brake fade because Gary should have been able to fight back from that maneuver.
I'm also wondering whether Graham Nathan is running the same brake package that Jacques Joubert is running. I'm not quite sure. Maybe we can get confirmation on that.
At the moment, though, everyone scratches their heads and says, on a small circuit like Zwartkops, why are you so hard on the brakes? It's because 3 corners ask you to give it everything on the middle pedal.
Well, Nathan's not going to be happy about this. I mean, look at all the damage work on his car as well. He'll be a little bit peeved, I'm sure.
Not happy, but at least he moves up to second place. We go back and pick up on the race lead in the Class A's. And Michael Stephen, although he got through with a bit of a gift, I've got to say, with a slip gear from Chopsapuka, although he got through, he has not broken away. Look who is stalking up into third place, though.
Yep, BMW.
It's all about Van der Linde. He is having an incredibly good day.
So, Michael Stephen wins it outright the second race. What a great drive. Melville Priest again following the champion.
And in the Class T's, look at this. We've already had a win from the Minis in the hands of Thompson. This time, it is the man that runs second place in championship points, so this is definitely going to help him out. Gavin Cronje keeping his nose clean, and the Minis have got a setup today, Steve. He's going to be super happy with that one. But watch out for Nathan. He did incredibly good work to get through. He's got the battle stars to prove it. Second place will keep him in the hunt.
Tomato in third, but let's get confirmation of race 2 results. Stephen, Melville Priest, Eddie and Van der Linde, Chopsapuka, Class A.
Melville Priest just watching the back bumper of Stephen once again. Confirmation of a very splintered field in the Class T's. Cronje takes a second victory on the day for Mini, ahead of Nathan in the GTI.
You must be absolutely sick and tired of seeing the back end of that Audi Extreme Audi in front of you. You followed it around for 14 laps in Port Elizabeth. You followed it around for another 8. What do you have to do?
Yeah, look, we were much quicker than them. It's just, you know, this track doesn't lend itself to passing, you know. If you're highly defensive, you're never going to get past. Although I did make a mistake on the start, which led him past, and I can only kick myself for that.
And it's been a good day for the John Cooper Works Mini. Congratulations, Gavin Cronje, the winner of race number 2. It wasn't easy out there, was it?
No, certainly not. Thanks to the team. They did an awesome job getting the car ready for the race. The delay in the session is what got us there. Otherwise, we were going to be out. So it's nice to reward the team with a win. It was a good race out there. Tough in the beginning. The guys are pulling some stunts on the starts, which it's a bit difficult. But in any case, coming away with the win is all we wanted.
The results of race number 2, and it hasn't been all the own way of the Indy All GTI's got, but I'll tell you one thing, Graham Nathan, your resolve says it all, and it's all about recovering points on the day.
Absolutely, we're doing a great job here today. The motor car is not quite where it should be with regards to parameters, but you know, maybe they'll adjust those a touch. The Minis are really, really fast, but they've done a good job. They've done what they need to do. We're trying as hard as we possibly can, and with all the carnage that's going on around us, the guys are riding into each other and taking each other out, and it's insane at the moment out there. I'm just trying to stay out the way. As you can see, we picked up a bit of damage trying to avoid some incidents, etc., etc. But yeah, 2 seconds on the day so far, and yeah, just keep plugging away at putting some points on the board.
Caught up on Michael van Rooyen, and 2 disappointing errors in race 1 and race 2, or was it mechanical? Who knows? You wanted your reflection on the problem?
Steve, we got a little bit of an incident in turn 1. Unfortunately, one of the cars or 2 of the cars were damaged badly. I got hit on both front wheels and had huge understeer for the remainder of the race. Gavin was on my inside and I tried to stick with him on the outside and I just couldn't and ran wide. Very unfortunate because I tried to keep him behind me, just wasn't able to.
Unfortunately, we've got a very, very short turnaround because of the program to get you into this main theme piece. So I'm hoping that there's no extensive damage for you.
No, not extensive. The guys are frantically busy, so I'm sure we'll be back for the 3rd race.
The feature race, Steve, is the one that counts on the day, and a lot of guys really need to turn their day around. Round number 4 has been the day of crashes, the day of carnage, and the day of cars not making it out for the feature race. And that just really destroys any hopes of a championship.
I must agree with you. It's been totally unexpected, particularly here at this racetrack. We know it's tight, but they know better. It's just been, as you say, a day full of carnage.
In the Class A's, the guys scoring no points on the day so far. Gennaro Bonafide, Ferrari. Ferrari is in trouble because he came into this round 2nd place on points, 11 points back. Wow, he's going to be a long way back now.
Class D, the man I want to highlight right now who's not going his own way is obviously Michael van Rooyen. He had a really good feel about this season, and it just hasn't materialized for him or the team.
Not at all. The guys at the front, it is going to be a 2-horse race. It is Nathan versus Cronje. That's how it looks on the track. That's how it looks on the day. And that's definitely how it looks in the championship.
So coming up, it's the big one. Right here, round number 4 at Zwartkops. It is our main theme piece, as Matt has said. Now, we do believe that this race has been shortened from 17 to 14 laps.
That's going to change things around, but watch out. We've seen earlier in the season that the feature race can throw a curveball. The man that is desperate for points on the day is Johan Fourie. He's got to get the job done. He's in a good position right now.
Yeah, he's been knocked all over the park in terms of what's been going on with him, and he really hasn't had a fair drive, or had the chance to have a fair drive.
Second place at the moment, tagged in behind race number 1 winner Etienne van der Linde. Then we go back on board with the Stigler, Jacques Zubert. He got turned around on the start of heat number 2. This time, he is going to be leaning all over anyone who comes close to him, and once again, it is the Ford, and I've got to say, that's got to be Formato. These guys have got no love for each other. Well, Formato goes wide. Formato takes the Stigler wide, unceremoniously to the dirt. See ya.
I thought that was brilliant.
You know what? It just proves how physical and how hard the year is going to be. These guys have these little grudge matches on the track.
This is why it's called world-class racing, and it's right here in South Africa, round 4, Zwartkops, on board Chop Sapuka. Now, having a great day so far. Will that turn around? Early days right now, 14 laps, the big go-to, but the BMW is looking quite ominous. And as you say, Fourie as well, tagging along, van der Linde.
Waberski, great to see him back into production car racing. He's got a lot of experience. He actually drove a Mini a couple of years back, so he knows exactly what to do out there. Let's see if the Chevy Cruze can turn things around. Formato, though, he is having probably his most consistent day so far.
Into turn 8, the Goldwagen corner brings them onto the straightaway, and there's quite a big gap between that Ford and the the GTI, and of course in front right now, Lee Thompson, that Mini. Wow, here we go again with the Minis.
Yeah, they're looking extremely strong. They've got an incredible setup, but the story of the day, for me, at the back of the pack, the Renault's doing nothing today, Steve. I don't know what the story is there, and bear in mind, this is a Gauteng-based team. The Big Boss guys come here for a lot of testing. They should have the setup.
Yeah, a lot of the teams come here for testing as well. And I agree with you. They had a fly-by night in Port Elizabeth, their debut win. We've seen the potential of that car, but it's just not seeing it today.
Check out Jacques Joubert getting the wheel up the inside of the 44, so he is running strong, and Waberski gets sent one place back. The GTI does run good. He got sent wide. We saw that. We're going to have to see if Jacques Joubert can recover and get himself through there. He is now in clear air. He's going to have to tag on and try and go chasing down on the Cruze, who also has suffered with just not the right setup today.
All right, focus on Class A at the moment. Priest just having a remarkable day, but the BMWs is the story of the day and how dominant they have. Brought in 2 new packages for their cars, their M Performance parts, one being a new brake caliper, a brake system which is locally made, the other being the Akrapovic pipes they're getting on board, and it has certainly improved their performance.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the amount of development that is going into these cars. Rear-wheel drive has taken a beating so far this season. Can we see it start turning around? Because you've got to go about 3 or 4 seasons back when Poulter was in the Nissan to see that kind of dominance from rear-wheel drive. Jacques Joubert now has closed up the gap. Look at that. The braking system, the power brake that we know that he is running on the GTI has definitely come. And you need it at Zwartkops. It is a braking and a horsepower track.
I said to you earlier on in the show, was there a changing of the guard? And we've known it to be Formato, or rather the GTIs and the Fords. Do the Minis now have a role to play?
Certainly do, as far as numbers go, because the points are starting to make prizes, Steve. And I tell you what, at front, this is actually the first time this season we have seen what we expected to see. A very strong Gavin Cronje, an extremely strong Nathan, and Formato finally getting himself onto the pace and running some solid laps.
65 kilometers an hour. They can only take this corner.
Big cutback.
Yeah.
Nathan was trying to get the squirt up the inside there. He hasn't got the drive, and we're seeing the Chevy Cruze park. That is a heartbreaker. Van Rooyen has had a stinker of a day.
He has indeed, hasn't he? So 3 of 14, and it's still Gavin Cronje. Wow, the Minis have had a good day so far. Lee Thompson's been in the pound seats. Formato's just been thereabouts, but it has been about the Minis and the GTIs. Wow, Mr. Gear.
I tell you what, I don't know if it was a misgear, Steve, but that GTI just had absolutely nothing there. He either lost drive or brakes or everything. Nathan's out. Nathan limping on the sideline. Wow. Our points leader is out of the race.
Wow, and the big one too. I mean, 20 points were available to him. Oh, this is going to crush him.
You know what? He has had such good luck in the feature races, the endurance races. Double point races is what's kept Nathan in the championship lead. Now it is going to be all the Mini's way. The Mini leads on the road, the Mini leads in the championship as Nathan is on the sideline staring into his bonnet, wondering what has gone wrong.
Yeah, it's not a great day for them at all, but you know what, there's plenty of rounds left in this championship, and he is leading this championship as we stand.
That's a misgear. That is a misgear in the Mini, and I can't remember the last time we saw Gary Formato leading a race. Certainly it's the first time clear air has hit the front of the new Ford.
Well, let's see how it goes. I mean, he gets his nut. We know he can drive, certainly, but the thing is, are those cars as good as what the other cars have been in the past?
What's great about the team, about the car, and about Gary Formato is he is good at developing the car. He can feed back to the engineers and tell them exactly what is going right, more importantly, exactly what is going wrong and what he needs to get to the front.
And that's the reason, because of that, he is a finesse driver. He really knows how to drive and turn that car around. So, great news. And now the Mini is chasing down Gary Formato. Is there going to be another end to this story here? This is the battle in front of Class T.
As it sits on the road right now, Steve, the Mini and Gavin Cronier are leading this championship, with Jacques Joubert doing some good work in third place to close down his situation. And second place, who else can it be but Melville Priest? In fact, I think he is right up there. He's got to just go for the chance here. This is the stage of the race where the Quattro system can run through and get a move on. That's actually for second place. So it's actually Van der Linde up the road. Melville Priest is not in second place. He is trying to get there.
What is wrong with that picture?
Oh, what's wrong with the picture is we haven't got Michael Stephen up the road playing blocker. So Melville Priest, for want of a better term, is looking at a different horizon right now. Probably enjoying looking at a BMW for a while.
For a change.
He just can't get through, though. And you can see Ferrari is controlling those inside lines. That gap off the front. Oh, there's a problem on Ferrari's car. That's a blown back tyre. A situation for the luckless here at round number 4. The luckless Johan Ferrari. It was all going so well. It's not a blown tyre, actually. That tyre has delaminated. So we have seen this in the past. The rear-wheel drive cars just shred the tyres here because they are putting all the power just through the two. And the Quattro systems, the all-wheel drive systems, are handling it a little bit better. But a surprise because Etienne van der Linde is streaks ahead out front. So he's just been nursing his tyres, controlling it a little bit better.
Man, it looked like somebody had actually attached a limpet mine to the back of that car.
Yeah, just let go completely. So can you imagine what is happening inside Ferrari's cockpit right now? He will be fuming because he needed to turn this around.
So Michael Stephen, we're on board right now with the Engine Extreme Audi S4. He is leading the championship and going for what I might add is, well, a super event. 3 championships in a row. Is it possible?
Michael Stephen, third place. He just comes into every round as the man to beat. It's definitely a possibility. Everyone else seems to be making mistakes. Check out the glowing front disc there of Gennaro Bonafide. He is actually going to walk away, if he stays where he is right now, 4th place, with some very respectable points in the day. It's not going to hurt him.
So the final race, and it's the penultimate lap, 13 of 14, and our focus right now, excuse the pun, is on Gary Formato. Just behind him, Gavin Cronier. Is there a story ending here with these two? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
You know, to take a win in the feature race and grab those double points, which I'm such a huge fan of, it is a massive turning point. Gary Formato has been solid on the day. He hasn't finished off the block just yet. And if he takes a win, you're going to start seeing the Ford turn the season around as we head to some of the tracks where he knows he will be able to run good pace. There's Ferrari. Came into this round second on championship points. He's been in, he's changed the tyre, he's got back out there because he is desperate to get any kind of points. Remember, there are a couple of cars still missing. We're talking about Groenewold. So just getting back out there and finishing the feature race does give you whatever points you need.
Of course, it might be confusing seeing him there because he's come in and changed that tyre, but really he's not the leader. The leader leading this field is Etienne van der Linde, who wins it. 20 maximum points, almost a full tilt score.
And Formato there, look at that, just outbreaks himself at the top of the hill. This is the last lap, and the Mini is going to come through. It is going to be all Minis all day long at Zwartkops. Who could have said that?
Unbelievable.
That is a charge, and sometimes you've got to take the luck when it comes. Formato will be kicking himself. He could have walked away with his first victory of the season. It's going to be a solid second place for him. It's going to help him out, the confidence for the team and the car, but a win was right there for him.
Annoying for Formato, but he will be very buoyed by the fact that the car has performed fairly well here on a short circuit.
For the first time in 2013, second time on the day, BMWs and Van der Linde get the win ahead of Priest. Stephen, solid, championship leader in third place ahead of Bonafide and Ferrari.
Class T results, and here we go. Gavin Cronier, what a day for the Minis. Gary Formato second, Jacques Joubert in the GTI, Garth Wilburski in the other Ford, and Devin Robinson.
This certainly cements your position as one of the best racing drivers in the country. Well, well done to you and the team.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm ecstatic. Couldn't have asked for a better day. Like you say, almost maximum points, but I'm more than happy with the tally we put together today. And like I said, after qualifying, it's time to turn my championship around, and hopefully this is the first of more to come.
Results of round number 4 at the Bridgestone Production Car Championship. An outstanding and, more importantly, a consistent day for Team Mueller-Ohlins, the S4 Supercharged Audi. Melville Priest behind the wheel. What a day.
Yeah, it's been a great day for the team. You know, we've been up there the whole year so far, and we've just been battling just to get consistent results, and we got it today, you know. 2 seconds and a third, I think, so can't complain, and managed at last to finish a race in front of Michael Stevens, so we stoked her.
I raised my eyebrows, but wow, what a performance. That was really, really tight battle between you and Gary Formato.
Yeah, the pace was fast for the third heat, and Joubert was coming, so he had some pace in him as well. We couldn't fight too much, keep it clean for the last lap. I made a mistake, Gary got past me, Gary made a mistake on the last lap, I got past him, so I kind of squared it up. I'm stoked with the win. The guys did a great job getting the car back together, and we 2 wins from today. Graham didn't finish, helps us in the championship, so going to the next round it just gets harder and harder, and that's what we're here for.
What a race between you and Gavin Cronier. It was outstanding.
Yeah, that was good. That's what it's about. I mean, you know, close race and the cars are tight. I mean, it was great. I think Graham was just as quick as us, there's no doubt about that, and I think the 3 of us will have a great race. But I think Gavin missed a gear early on in the race. It gave me a chance to get past, but then I just bleeped it up at the end of the race, the last lap. Just braked a little bit too late, which I should never have done, but anyway, I did. So well done to them. I mean, he kept the pressure on and you know, had a great car, and we had a great race.
Steven Zwartkops looking at the championship. The gaps have got bigger. 24 points separate Michael Steven and Melville Priest. Etienne van der Linde has climbed the ladder to 3rd place now.
Ford's GTIs and Minis, and there it is. Gavin Cronier leads the point standing 108. Graham Nathan, Jack Joubert, Gary Formato, Devon Robinson and McGann, and Lee Thompson in the other Mini.
Manufacturers' points. No surprise to see the Audis leading. Volkswagens are there, but BMW once again have closed the gap here at round number 4.
So the winner in race 1 and 3, Etienne van der Linde, BMW.
A turnaround for the German manufacturer at round number 4. And the Minis. It is Zwartkops. This is their track from now on. Thompson and Cronier owning the day.
For more information, go to www.spcc.co.za or tag us on Facebook or Twitter.
Well, that's a wrap for round 4 of the Bridgestone Production Cars, and what an eventful round it was. Bonafide and Ferrari clashed once again, and Henny Groenewald was the casualty, ending his day of racing. Thompson delivered for Team Castrol Mini, winning his first race for the season, but a shunt from Nathan in race 2 sent him back to the pits. Michael Steven, Mr. Consistent, cruised his black and silver S4 to victory, and ADF Motorsport delivered sheer excellence, putting Gavin Cronier's Mini back together just in time for the second race. And Cronier thanked them by not only winning race 2, but also clinching the feature race of the day, just pipping Gary Formato to the line. Etienne van der Linde added more gold to the team's race day by winning the feature race by a mile. Melville Priest was impressive and is becoming a serious contender for the championship. What a day of racing. What a way to end round 4. We'll see you in Durban on the 15th and 16th of June. Until next time, I'm Steve Bishop with Matt Smith. This is World Class Racing, Bridgestone Production Cars.